seconds to start. Okay, great. So now we are being recorded. And as I was reading the slide, but I'm going to start all over again. Today's feature is Erica N. Hines. She is the Senior Director of the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. Production Tracking System Division. And today's session will be moderated by Nessa Dawn Karaya. And Nessa Dawn is a Senior Manager of Cost Control at Avangrid. So if you give me a few seconds, I will introduce both ladies and then I will be out of your way. So let's start with our moderator today. Nessa Dawn is a DE&I NEWIEE committee member, and we thank her for her service. Her background is in cost control with a background in energy, infrastructure, aviation, and government sectors. Nessa Dawn is an advocate for increasing renewable awareness in underrepresented communities. Nessa Dawn has been a champion many years for environmental justice communities, as well as the underrepresented communities. And we thank you, Nessa Dawn, for your service, and thank you for hosting this NEWIEE webinar today. And turning it over to our feature, as I mentioned, Erica N. Hines is the Senior Director, Massachusetts Clean Energy Center, the Production Tracking System Division. As the Senior Director of the Renewable Energy Production Tracking System, that's a long title, and she's going to explain to us what she does, and we will go over that. Erica oversees a dynamic team of 10 professionals and collaborates with multiple contracted vendors to manage and optimize the IT platforms responsible for distributing, everyone have on their listening ears, $7 billion in renewable energy incentives to Massachusetts residences and businesses annually. $7 billion, I cannot imagine, okay? So with over 11 years of dedicated service in the clean energy sector, she has been instrumental in pioneering innovative incentive solutions. Her expertise resides in developing, implementing, and refining IT systems and processes for crucial state incentive programs. And she'll explain to you what those incentive programs are. I'm going to shorten this bio a little bit. Driven by her unwavering faith and passion to lead, Erica's career in management spans over 25 years, during which time she continuously sought personal and professional growth. Erica recently achieved her MBA. Kudos and claps to you, Erica. And you can tell us what that MBA is. Thank you so much, Erica, for being our feature today. And I am going to turn it over to Nessa Dawn and Erica. Thank you so much, NEWIEE members and guests and board. Have a great day. And I'll see you in a few minutes. After they're done, we'll come back for some questions.
Tamika, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's an honor for me to be here, representing NEWIEE as a DE&I member, where I have the opportunity to chat with my dear colleague, Erica. But before we get started, all right, for everyone out there listening, let's do a little bit of trivia, okay? So in your Q&A, I want you to just put in the answer to this first question. Who is referred to as the mother of energy justice? So I'll give you about a minute, maybe less, if you can go to the Q&A and put your answer in there. Who is referred to as the mother of energy justice? Give you guys a couple more seconds. All right, so let me tell you let me give you the answer. So the term mother of environmental justice, energy justice, is often attributed to Dr. Beverly Wright. Dr. Beverly Wright is a sociologist and the founding director of the Deep South Center for Environmental Justice at Dillard University in New Orleans. So if you guessed that one right, kudos to you. We are definitely going to be given a prize, maybe. All right. So we're here to learn more about my dear friend, Erica.
Oh, wow.
Erica Hines. So Tamika just introduced you and she mentioned something about your achievement. So you've received your MBA and now you're currently working on a second master's degree in business analytics. I think I have that correct.
Correct.
And you've been at MassCEC for over 11 years. So
Correct.
when I look at your title says that you're the Senior Director of Renewable Energy Production Tracking Division. That's a long title, and I want you to really help us break that down by telling us more about what was your career path to get there, and what does that title even mean?
Okay. Well, hello to everyone. Hello, Nessa Dawn. Thank you, Tamika. Thank you, NEWIEE, for having me here today. And so we'll just shorten the Renewable Energy Production Tracking Division to the PTS, the Production Tracking System. And so my division is known as the PTS division. My career path to getting here, I would probably say is non-traditional. I did not study environmental science, engineering, renewable energy or related source, but I did many moons ago achieve my bachelor's in business administration. Started a career with that degree and moved into and completed my MBA. Forgive me a little bit in my thought process here. Had my bachelor's for many years, and in my career path from that was started as an entry-level position working at the Deaconess Hospital, moved into Children's Hospital. There I managed restricted fund grants. There I had an experience of learning about how do you manage a budget, how do you staff a grant when something is out of scope, began that stage. I later moved in mid-career to Ernst & Young, and there I was a financial manager and analyst, so working with the partners to manage their jobs for profitability, cost control, compliance, and more recently, I started my career over a decade ago. I would say more recently, but over a decade ago at MassCEC. So this is my first time being in this industry was through MassCEC, but I had transferable skills from my prior experiences that took me here. And while at MassCEC, after raising a family of 3 beautiful girls, plus a spiritual daughter, I went back to school when my youngest went off to school and achieved my MBA and graduated with her in 2022. And here we are in 2024, where I feel like having a second degree in business analytics because I manage a database platform with a lot of data is quite relevant and appropriate. So hopefully that helps. That explains.
That is a lot that you have achieved, and I just want to celebrate. So a couple of things that you mentioned there that I definitely want to learn a lot more about. You're doing your second master's degree, but I don't know if you guys heard it. She graduated with her MBA at the same time as one of her daughters, right? That is excellent. That is just something to, that I'm in awe that you went back and you did this. Lovely. So
third try.
yeah, one of the things that you mentioned, right, is about your transferable skills, right, from where you started and then getting into the renewable energy, right? So your background, you did some business administration. You had a whole career before moving into the role that you have right now at MassCEC. But Tamika mentioned, the portfolio that you manage, $7 billion. Guys, that's billion, $7 billion, right?
Over time.
So,
Yes.
7 billion. So, that is something that I want to explore with you, right? You got into MassCEC and you're moving around and getting a feel for the renewable energy. I want you to share a little bit more about your background, over the last 10 years with MassCEC, how you built that portfolio, that budget that you're managing today, right? It didn't just land in your lap. Let's explore that.
So that 7 billion is in revenue that's distributed to the Commonwealth, to residents and businesses of the Commonwealth over a period of time. I recently presented to my board some numbers that I'll share here. So a little bit about the PTS, and I'll speak to those numbers. How did I get here, right? My path. I started at MassCEC in the position of a system analyst or data analyst, because I was looking at the data in the PTS to try to standardize them and improve the quality of them so that they can give better metrics. And starting there, as a contractor, actually, I then moved into a permanent role as an analyst. Again, quality data, collecting what the PTS does, a little bit about the PTS, the Production Tracking System Division, that oversees 4 of the renewable energy programs, incentives that's been implemented by Department of Energy Resources. Some people may know, some may not, but the renewable energy certificate programs such as SREC, Solar Renewable Energy Certificates, Renewable Thermal, Clean Peak Standard, these are programs that are in place to drive clean energy within the state. And so we have regulations within our state, and then we have DOER implement and provide guidelines for the regulations to drive clean energy. And MassCEC comes alongside DOER, and we administer or manage these programs, these particular REC programs. So we work very closely with DOER. And then we also work with the New England Pool of Energy GIS. So we're offsetting grid energy in the work that we do with clean energy. And there's an incentive in the state that pays system owners funds that's generated from our production that's in our database that pays these system owners a check. It's like a broker's office. Clean energy is for sale. And so there's a value that's placed on this clean energy, and it's sold on a quarterly basis to drive clean energy within the state. And so in 2022, our SREC program that we manage it has a capacity of 2,165 in its capacity. We generated over 2,300 RECs that generated to the system owners over $700,000. This is in 1 year, one program. Another program, the Mass Class 1 systems that we manage, generated another $5 million in 1 year. The Renewable Thermal APS program, $15 million in 1 year. And even the newest CPS program that began more recently generated $10 million in that year. So about 25 million in 1 year. And I've been doing this for 10 years, so do the math. So I am so proud of my team that helps me to get this done. I do work with an IT team as well as a customer service team, and we work together to work with the with the residents and consumers of Massachusetts that gets this benefit. Again, closely with DOER to drive the clean energy initiative for the state. So hopefully that you've seen the path, analyst to manager to director. And it was after I completed my MBA and after the department grew to the size that it has. When I first started, we were a team of 4, and now we're a team of 10, and we've outsourced the IT portion for development. The growth that's taken place from more programs, more complex programs from when I started 10 years ago, I think has been some of the driving force, in addition to going back to school has helped.
This is remarkable. So it's 7 billion in revenues that Erica just spoke about, and she just walked us through how she started. So for those of you who are listening here today, she started as a contractor, as an analyst, and then continuously moved up. Mm-hmm. As she got more involved in the work that she was doing, that I guess it's a yearning, I like to call it, to work with the data, to actually have some improvement and make your mark. Took her back to school, right? Mm-hmm. She went back to university, completed an MBA, and look at the portfolio. Look at where she is right now. Erica, that is amazing. All right. That is amazing. And one of the things that I like here, you talk about starting off in the whole business administration. So that's a combination of skills right there. But mm-hmm. even before you got into MassCEC, you had those transferable skills. Yep. And that is one of the things that I think we have to remember, that in clean energy, in renewable energy, in what we do here at NEWIEE and the companies that we work for, they are transferable skills.
They are.
They are transferable skills. And that is just going to keep helping us to grow more and more.
Yep. Can I just share, when I first started with my MBA, with a bachelor's in business administration, I thought I was going to focus on finance. I knew I was going to go back for an MBA at some point, but I thought an MBA in finance after I was working with restricted funds and doing budgeting, working at Ernst & Young where I did, finance and analytics, But who would have thought that I would have ended up using my skill set in numbers, my skill set in looking how I look at the information and how do we move forward in terms of management. So I probably move more in the direction of management and how do we get things done. But now that I'm in this IT space and doing this other degree, I feel so proud and with the fact that each career change that I've had, or as I've grown with these major long-term experiences with one company, I take away something when I leave there. So now I'm in the IT space, and I never thought that I would be when I started out, many moons ago. So still learning skills that will be transferable.
That is excellent. And I think it's a great segue. You're in the space. You, Erica Hines, are in the space as the Senior Director of the PTS System Division. And it's also, in case folks out here didn't know about it, it's also Black History Month. Okay. In any other year, this would be the last day, but things are so great, we get one more day. And with that one more day, I want to talk more about you, Erica Hines, being at MassCEC in the clean industry, and just some stats that I was able to find on MassCEC and the clean energy industry. We have 30% women in the industry, 30% women. So that's good. But because it's Black History Month, when we look at the numbers for African Americans in the clean energy, it's less than double digits, right? So I want to understand from your perspective, what are some of the challenges, but let's focus more on the opportunities of our Black, Indigenous, and people of color that you have faced through your career?
So although we're celebrating Black History Month, I must say that Black history is an everyday history for people of color, not just this month, because we live it out daily, but we are happy that it's celebrated for 28 or 29 days throughout the year. And so as I thought about, let me see, as I'm thinking about how you sort of said sort of the challenges or what are the opportunities. Three things sort of come to mind in this area. Is for myself is and have daughters. I have three to four daughters because I count my spiritual daughter as my daughter. Who are they seeing in leadership? I know when Barack Obama became president, I mean, I think every Black man feel like we can do this, right? And so who are we seeing in leadership? And so that is definitely a challenge, but yet and still it's an opportunity. Because for myself, I have seen few people of myself at the table in terms of the conversation. When I started to attend the NEWIEE events many years ago, and kudos to NEWIEE, I could probably count the number of folks that were in the room that were people of color, but now I go there and I'm excited to network and to connect with people of all different culture. So who do we see in leadership is one of the challenges and an opportunity, I think, that has to be acknowledged during this time. And who do we see in leadership also impacts who becomes our mentor or who we're networking with. And so creating a space and opportunity for that within the people of color, a Black community or non-European community is a way that also impacts us as Black people. And the other one has to do with where we are today. We're having a lot of discussions around DE&I, DNIJ, DNIB, but to have these conversations where someone may not have been used to being in a workspace with someone of color and how different the cultural or the experiences that we bring to the table could be an asset to an organization. So I think these are both, all three of these that I named are challenges as well as opportunities. Being mindful that we do need to see people of color, of other cultures at the table, being mindful that it creates networking opportunity when you create a space and opportunity for growth within the organization. And then to have the difficult conversations about what it is that we can do to impact and to make a difference in this space.
You said that so well. You got to see yourself in the leaders, you got to network, and you got to have allies. And I think this is so important every single day that we have people from the Black and African American community that show up in leadership positions. And when they are in leadership positions, they become a magnet to pull more into
Mhm.
those industries and also move that pipeline along, because we bring people in, we bring them in at the entry level, but we got to be able to move them through middle and then upper and senior management. So I'm expecting to see, more people joining MassCEC and some of the companies that sponsor NEWIEE in positions where you are and even higher. So because
Yes,
I think it's definitely important.
it is. I attended the NESB as because MassCEC sponsors the NESB Gala. I'm excited about that, and so I attended that, where you see, brown and Black kids who are receiving scholarships from the National Society of Black Engineers. And to have seen that, I recently attended their gala, and actually it was on Saturday. And so to just be there, to be that type of support. So MassCEC supporting that, and as well as other, major organizations, make a difference in providing the scholarship that young Black and brown girls may need to get the education that they need in order to get into the positions, in order to have a diverse career path, right? or a diverse organization. So it's a trickle effect. It's definitely starting out by supporting NEWIEE and other related organizations that are trying to make a difference, and therefore impacting our children as they develop their careers.
You guys heard that. So Erica was at NESB, MassCEC sponsored. So if you want to know how you can support your Black and African American employees and just your community, there's a plug. Support, scholarships. That's how you get in, right?
Yeah.
And that's great that you talk about that. So I want to just quickly go off. So we talk about bringing people into leadership. As Black women, okay, we talk about pay equity, right?
Mhm.
And we want to make sure that we have that pay equity. And we're having a moment right now, with pay equity, with women being in leadership positions, not just in the energy industry, but you're gonna pretty much see this anywhere that you look right now.
Mhm.
So in the last few months, there have been a couple of events that I think everyone has seen or heard about in the news, starting from, the Harvard president, Claudine Gay, to what's happening with affirmative action, with DE&I programs. So it's just a whole bunch of things that are happening. So, and then when you look at how these events are impacting Black and African American employees and women especially, because I want to just kind of like focus on that. It's affirmative action. It's the call to end DE&I programs by, really top people. It's affecting some of the Fortune 500 companies.
Mhm.
And we as Black and African American women, we need to be able to push through all of this. All right. So
Mhm.
we keep going. You're climbing right now, Erica. You keep climbing, but we need to be able to push through.
Right.
And you have mentioned, the lovely opportunities that you've had. So I have a question, how do we really push through? Did you have a mentor as you were pushing through? Do you have a board of directors? I'm looking for advice that can probably, help our guests here today, because we need to be able to move the Black community along. So how do we do that?
So unfortunately, what happened to Claudine Dane, it has her, she had to step down. It just shows us that no matter how high you are in the totem pole, or how far you get, you can still be affected by implicit biases, right? And you're there in the eye. And it's unfortunate it's happened because other young Black and brown kids are looking to see that happen and wonder if that will happen to them as well. How do I push through? I do have mentors. I have mentors. I have board of directors. I have those that I connect with, that are directly in my career path, and there are those that are not in my industry, that I can use as a sounding board, or sort of check the pulse as to what it is that I'm doing, where I'm hoping to go, and how do I get there. And then the purpose behind that, as to why I'm pushing through. As previously shared, my youngest daughter graduated when I graduated, but she graduated with her engineering and with an engineering degree in mechanical engineer. And I want to be able to show her that her earning that degree is going to open doors and opportunities for her, it won't be easy. It's a challenge, but we're used to challenges. We can handle that. So, creating a space, having a plan, setting some goals, aligning yourself up with an organization that you may work for that has similar goals and mission statements, and in making a difference and want to do something differently as opposed to going with the norm. Networking with your folks that that your support structure, having a purpose behind all of it is another way that I press through. So I definitely believe in, it starts at home. So I set the example with my children that, as they're Black women, 3 daughters, one is in a tech space, another's an engineer, and another is in, it works in the business side within a warehouse. But it's being that role model for them and then looking for role models as well. It is networking, and it's been a part of organizations. It is being a part of the community and making a difference. So it's operating where it's outside of self. How do we serve others? How are we going to make a difference in this environment, in this world, and leave it better than we found it? That's how I push through and would encourage anyone else to push through, is to find a reason outside of self to do what it is that we do.
And I think that is so important, because as we're climbing, we used to talk about that glass ceiling, but sometimes it feels like as though you're on a cliff. But as you're climbing and you're pushing through, what you just said there about finding something beyond yourself is important, because you really have to have that purpose, right, as you're pushing through. And that leads me, I wonder sometimes, how can organizations in the industries that we operate in, renewable industry, right, energy industry, anything in the environment, how can these organizations really better recruit and retain the Black talent that is out there? Because it's really important, as we mentioned before, to help our Black and African American employees advance and be the best version of themselves when they get in. How can organizations do that?
Well, DEI is unfortunately, the pros and cons of George Floyd. DEI became something that each organization, or many big organizations, decided to revisit or implement, if they haven't, to be intentional about having a diverse organization at many levels, not just as one, not just at the entry level, but how do we prepare for the next level by offering things like tuition reimbursements and support. I know at MassCEC, we have diversified in how we recruit interns within the organization, and we're intentional about that. So we've diversified our recruiting pattern that we've had in the past. We have these courageous conversations where we do get together and talk about having a place of belonging, and how do we do that. Again, tuition reimbursement is a big piece, because many people of color may have come from different backgrounds and may not have the education. It doesn't mean that they cannot start at some point. And so offering that, networking opportunities. So being a part of NEWIEE is another way of how I've connected and networked with others, and being a part of NSBE. So again, I think each organization has to be intentional. This is not just an initiative, but this is a part of the way we live. This is part of the way America lives. In having we have a diverse country, the melting pot. So why would we not have a diverse organization and be intentional about making that happen? So if you have an organization where you cannot look and see someone of color or another diversity at different levels, then you should question that and see what it is that where are you looking to hire from, and are you doing a traditional everyone has to follow the same track? They went to these great schools and have this great degree and started this job following. Is that your pattern of hiring, or can someone have followed a different path and maybe they did some, they worked and then they went back to school, and maybe their school is not an Ivy League school. So it's, again, being intentional to be diverse in recruiting.
You said it, intentional hiring. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
Then and making sure that I think one of the things that we have to think about, I think most companies have some sort of mission statement or vision when it comes to DE&I.
Mm-hmm.
And DE&I is every day. You got to be intentional and ensure that you're bringing the right people to the table. Intentional. I think you had mentioned it. When you have the leaders in place, Those leaders have to come in and really ensure that you are bringing in the right people. Where are we hiring from,
Mhm.
right? That's important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's, it's,
Creating a
it's
culture of the
important.
belonging. Do I
Yeah.
belong here? Do I
It-
feel like I'm making a difference here? Am I valued here?
yeah. When I come in, are you going to sit and have lunch with me? Are you going to chat with me? Are we going to engage after work, right? That belonging is so important. And there's so much that I think organizations can do to ensure that they are bringing in all the Black and African American employees so they can really feel a part of that organization, especially as we transition, all right? Because we all talk about this whole energy transition. And we know what happened before in other industries. We need all energy. Don't get me wrong, but we got to make sure that when we do this energy transition, that we're bringing everyone in, and we're not forgetting about the Black and African American citizens that we have who typically affected, right, by where we place some of our industries. Okay. And let's just quickly move in and please, my audience, keep your questions coming. Great questions coming in. I am going to try to address them with Erica as soon as we get through this. Let's talk about, I want to share just a quick story here. So I had the opportunity in my career to pretty much work on every continent, right? That was a blessing, okay? Not just an opportunity, a blessing. And one of the projects that really stand out to me was one that I worked at in Manitoba. That's up in Canada, all right? And this was the Kia's generating power plant. And the good thing about that plant, what I liked about that plant is that the owners were Manitoba Hydropower, all right? Partnered with the First
You're in the
Nations.
technical space. Go ahead.
Partnered with the First Nations people. So we're talking about our indigenous folks, right? So here in the US, our Native Americans, Canada is the First Nations, the Cree Nation. And this was really great because if you think about NEWIEE, right? So NE, New England, but what else does it say? It's Women in Energy and the Environment, okay? And so if we're talking about energy and the environment, on that particular project, you could not move a rock without first involving the First Nations people. They were partners, they were owners. You could not make any diversion, dig up any dirt, do anything without involving them. So why? Because typically, our indigenous people are seen as the guardians of the environment. All right. So I share that story because one of the things that you're seeing here with renewable energy and what the Biden administration has done as well is to ensure that with the passing of the Inflation Reduction Act, all right? And for those of you who probably don't remember what that's about, it's where the Biden administration is given $437 billion over 10 years, all right? Over 10 years for companies and organizations to ensure what is going to happen. They want to ensure that we're serving the environmental and energy justice communities. And how do we serve those? We're going to make sure that there's environmental justice provisions, there's energy equity, there's sustainability, there's funding for neighborhoods and environmental programs. Okay, we're going to make sure that there's going to be investment for tax credits, and there's going to be production tax credits. So it's quite a lot that is trying to cover here over the next 10 years. And Erica, I know because I just getting to know you a little bit better, that you were just watching the news one day, all right? And Erica's going to tell the story great. Erica was watching the news one day, and Erica, just tell us what you saw in the news and what action you took, because this is remarkable.
Yes, so as a result of the Inflation Reduction Act and the efforts of our mayor for the city of Boston, there's going to be, they're building renewable energy or renewable thermal system, geothermal system in the Black community. In particular, Franklin Park was identified as a community that the National Grid, the state, and the IRA Act funds will be placing in new geothermal in that community. Now, the thing that surprised me that I heard that I shared with Nessa Dawn when we connected was that in the interview, what was shared, and I'm remembering this number in the 60s, is that in the wintertime, in those communities, because the landlords are trying to manage the heating bill, like they're only allowed to put their heating system only up to, I believe, 62. Imagine in the 60s, this is the highest they can put the heat. Therefore, they're probably burning electrical heaters, which is dangerous in itself, and high bills, which they can't afford. But I think this Inflation Reduction Act for our state is just going to have great benefits for the Black communities if we see more initiatives and efforts such as this, because that park is not, those development is not owned by Black people. It's not owned by one landlord. It's not owned by one person getting a benefit. Therefore, the city has to get involved in making a difference for the community, for the people through this act.
You guys heard that? She's just looking at the news, right? Saw what was going on about our senior citizens. And that's why I talked about, you know, how we have to be the protectors of the environment, right? How you can make a difference. This is just Erica. Hey, what can I do? This is not, oh, we have this other initiative here at MassCEC. Let's go do it. This is, how does it impact the communities that we live in, right? And that is one of the key aspects of this Inflation Reduction Act, that it is going to benefit, right, the communities that you find our Black and African American employees living in. Because I can tell you, I have seen what happened in other industries. And, you know, Tamika said, I'm passionate about, you know, making sure underrepresented communities can benefit. It's because I've seen what has happened. And we have the opportunity to make a difference. And it just takes, hey, what is happening in my community? What is happening in the community right next door? So you don't have to be part of that community, but you can be an ally for that community to make that difference. And Erica, you, I mean, just looking at the news and taking care of our senior citizens, because they're going to be the ones telling us what, you know, what happened and how we can move forward, right? And that is just remarkable. So, you know, you shared so much about yourself, about how you got to where you are today, Erica. And you throughout this, you've talked about your three daughters, your three beautiful, successful, highly accomplished daughters. So just looking back at your career so far, I'd like to know, what advice did you give your daughters that you can probably share with us, and what you would give to young aspiring professionals, especially from these underrepresented communities? What legacy would you want to give to the next generation?
So speaking to my daughters and to others and to the next generation, I would first start by saying believing in yourself, and because you do have value, that there will be some challenges along the way. But as you shared, we press through those challenges, whether it's through networking, mentorship, however you need to. It's recognizing that the work that we do, or the work that you do, has a purpose and a meaning, and it's outside of self, right? So it's for our community, it's for the environment. So believing in yourself, connecting with others so that you can understand and live out your purpose. I think believing in, as I seek others that I look up to, that are my mentors, then I also reach back. So I do believing in the saying, lift as you climb, so that we leave no one behind. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
In yourself and pressing through and serving a purpose greater than self.
I think that's really profound. You You've had a remarkable career, and your career just keeps growing and growing, and I love that. And what I love also, Erica, is that you are definitely you have that knack for wanting to learn more, but not just learning. And some people, oh, I'm going to seek more knowledge, but you're actually putting that into action, and it's benefiting our communities. It's benefiting NEWIEE. I mean, you're a NEWIEE member. I'm a NEWIEE member, and to have someone like you that I can call my colleague, my friend, to be here on NEWIEE with you, it's really, really great. You had mentors. Would you like to be a mentor to anyone here on the panel? Not on the panel, oh, here in the audience.
Sure. Reach out to, I'm not sure what the proper procedure is when you say that, but again, my daughters, right? I'm very active in my church and my community. I do that there as well. But even as a part of NEWIEE, I would love to mentor someone. Again, we do all have something to give and to give back. And so I would be willing to, sure.
You guys heard that. All right. So we have someone who has signed up to be a mentor. Feel free to connect. I know Tamika and they're probably monitoring in the background. So what I want to do right now, we got some great questions. Okay. And I want to just turn to these questions now. And I'm going to read through the questions, and I'll give you the opportunity, Erica, to answer some of these. So one of them, what do you wish others to understand about the Black community?
So it sounds cliche, but it's not. Black history is American history. We have contributed to the advancement of this country. I recently went to Africa just last year and had the experience of West Africa, Ghana, slavery, how strong the people were. So I know I stand on those shoulders for those who made it through the Middle Passage, and that's here in the United States. And I do believe that we are stronger. We're a strong set of people, strong personalities, strong drive in many cases. But we have also contributed a lot, and we can contribute a lot. So to be mindful that although we're diverse in our culture, right? Because we're diverse in our experiences, but we are still a power to be reckoned with. So please, I would say as you engage with people of color, to have an open mind to what could be different from what you're used to.
Excellent. And I like you went back to Ghana. It's actually one of the places that I definitely want to visit. I have my bucket list. I'm working through it. So hopefully one day I can visit Ghana as well. And what you said, Black history is American history. It's definitely American history. And that is very important. And hopefully everyone can take that back and really understand what Black history is. So we have another question here. What advice would you give entry-level career starters in this field, in the clean industry field?
So again, I started my clean energy industry experience in 2012. Prior to that, I recycled. I cut back on my utilized good practices around how I use my electricity bills and so forth, but had no idea about the work that was taking place around clean energy and renewable energy. And so for me, it was reading a lot around energy, renewable energy, DOER website, other resources, NEPL GIS. I would say be a sponge, just take in as much as you can. It's also attending events that you may feel like, for me, I suffer from imposter syndrome at times, not at times, a lot of times. And so I always feel like I need to learn more in order for me to do that next thing. And at some point, I'm comfortable saying that I'm resourceful enough that I can bring to the table what needs to be brought to the table. And so for someone who's just starting out, I would say, again, absorb as much as they can, participate, network, and then be okay with taking each step one at a time. So I know this and I've learned this, so I can do this. I can speak about this comfortably. I can impact this space comfortably. I'm willing to be uncomfortable to get to the next level. that's what I would encourage the next person, a starter up person to do, is that you will be uncomfortable in learning, and it's okay, because it will get you where you need to go.
You know, Eric, I 100% agree with that. I remember when I decided to make the switch to renewable energy, I was intentional. And you've said it, you know, throughout our conversation today about being intentional. If you know you want to get into this industry, you have to become intentional. All right. When you know what you want to do, sometimes you don't know how, but start networking. I can tell you, I have a mentor, all right?
Mhm.
And the one thing that mentor says to me is network, network, network. And after you start networking, then you mentioned, Erica, get a mentor, all right? That can open up so many doors for you, networking and mentorship. And if you could get a mentor like the one that I have, oh, you're set. Okay.
Well, I think there's definitely one person who's been a mentor in this space to anyone who sort of just needs some guidance. And I believe she's published her book, not that I believe, because I do have it, The Brown Girl's Guide to Networking. And that's why networking is so key, and why this person is so key in this space and mentoring others.
Sorry, did you it's the Brown Girl's Guide to
To
Network?
networking.
Okay. Can we get that in the chat? So if you're interested, it's on Amazon, Brown Girl's Guide to Networking. Okay, great. So we have another question here. Do you believe renewable energy can replace fossil fuel in the next 30 years?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I wouldn't be in this space if I did not. Renewable energy is that. It's resources that naturally replenishes itself that we can utilize. And so I know that our newest program is a Clean Peak Standard program. And it's a program that's not just an incentive for renewable energy generation, but it's a program that changes our behavior. So if we can change our behavior so that we are utilizing our clean energy sources, including energy storage or other items such as that. Electric vehicle is another way. We know that gas stove is going away. I think there are just many other, there's a lot that's in place that will get us there. And there's a clear plan in terms of the state goals and how we're going to get there that we're all a part of.
Excellent. That's a really great answer, and I'm smiling about that because you know I probably said all energy, right? But can clean energy really replace it? And I believe so. It's going to take us some time to get there. It's going to take the right infrastructure, okay, and it's going to take re-education, right, to
Yep.
get people to think about things in different ways. All right. And if you just look across what's happening in the world today, things are moving so quickly that, you know, I definitely see it. I definitely see it. So let's see. We're coming up to time. It's 4:57 p.m. I do see we have time for one more question. Yep, let's see if we can get that question in here. All right. So how can leaders help stem the leaky pipeline we see to a lot of the top positions for women, especially women of color in our industry?
How can leaders help STEM? So we talked about allyship, I believe, a little bit earlier, that we need mentorship, but we not just need mentorship, we need allyship, but we need advocacy. And so we do need people of color or non-color to be at the table to advocate for the tools and the resources and the programs and the funds that are needed to educate our people of color, starting at a young age. We did a program at MassCEC that I'm not sure if we don't have any more, but hope it will come back. Is we would go to the schools, the elementary school. I think it was a school day. Tamika, you were at MassCEC at the time driving this program. And we would go out to the schools in the community with the kids with a little STEM kit that they would get so excited about. and that would pique their interest. So we have to pique the interest early. So leaders of not just organizations, but in communities or churches or in schools have to be intentional about providing the funds and the resources to start to educate early, because it's not going to happen once someone is, going back for an MBA. The interest and the desire to do this starts really early. So we got to plant that seed. That's how I think leaders can make a difference. Advocacy.
Definitely, definitely, 100%. This has been great. I have learned so much about you going through this journey, Erica Hines, my dear friend. It is definitely an honor, and I want to thank NEWIEE 100%. Just thank NEWIEE for creating this space, not just for Black History Month, but creating this space with the DE&I committee that I'm a part of, that Tamika is a part of, to ensure that we have these conversations and we can move the dialogue along. I really, really appreciate it and your time, Erica. So I want to just hand it over to Tamika.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Nessa Dawn, for being our moderator and asking great questions. And thank you, Erica, for being our featured spotlight for Black History Month on behalf of NEWIEE. I want to say thank you to everyone for registering and signing on. And on behalf of the NEWIEE organization, the board, our president, Joey Lee Miranda, and our members and our corporate organizations and everyone who really helps NEWIEE go and just, just make progress for the past 15 years. We couldn't do it without you. So we just want to thank you. Thank you everyone for attending. Please go on our website, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, I think we're on, but follow us on all of our social media handles and feel free to share our posts and share our announcements. And, we can't do this alone. We can do more together. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you again, Erica and Nessa Dawn. And we look forward to seeing you at another Ask Me Anything. And I hope you all have a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.